everybody. Welcome to the first episode pilot premiere of Let's Start a Conversation. I'm Antonio Ibarra, and with me I have my co-host, Jeremiah Irvin. Hey, Jeremiah.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Antonio, thanks for having me. I'm glad I'm here, man.
Hey, man, I'm looking forward to doing this. This is going to be a great show. I really think that it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to talking to all the people that are watching at home, and I'm looking forward to having a great conversation with you today. So what do you say we get into it, huh?
Hey, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about the history of America United. Let's talk a little bit about us and tell the folks at home, like, how we got started and everything that brought us to this point.
Well, I know first and foremost, it started when you came to the department and we got to talking about a lot of things. You and I definitely watch the news and we see what's going on in the world, and it just bothered us. And we had a conversation, and, you were saying, we need to do something with the police. Everybody's talking about defund the police. And I, with my background, was talking about, hey, man, we need to really just this Black Lives Matter thing. It can't be just about that, because it's a serious divide that is creating. And so we came up with the All Lives Matter campaign. But I'm sure that we'll as the show goes on, we'll explain to the people that how far we're moving forward, and kind of sort of bringing everything under America United.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you hit the nail right on the head. I think as the show goes on, we're going to be able to really expound on the topics that we're dealing with as a corporation, as a nonprofit, as America United. And the two movements, I mean, they've really taken off since we started. What was it, about a month and a half ago? I think we started with that first conversation between you and me at the police department. For those of you at home that don't know, myself and Jeremiah are both police officers. We're both military service members. I'm a veteran. Jeremiah still serves. But we had that conversation at the police station, and from there, it kind of just got born into an idea of America United. It started with the two movements, and from there we brought it under that umbrella of America United, and it has just taken off. I believe we're up to 20 state chapters right now, I think. Is that right? 20 state chapters for America United?
Yes, and yes. So let me jump into this real quick and just explain to everybody how the two marry. Since we're both police, and we both take that oath that says protect, serve, and defend, and we have to do that oath every single year. So what that means is whenever we have a call for service to anybody, any person, or any location, we have to go, because we are police. And so it doesn't matter who you are. And so then when we have on the other spectrum, the other side of it, we have All Lives Matter. And what that means is, everybody matters, basically, for lack of a better term. So you have the police side of the house, and you have the All Lives Matter campaign, which means that, they have to marry, because police and just the respect of every life, that is something that we all must adhere to in regards to helping somebody, and everybody's life has value. That's how we're able to marry the two.
Yeah, and that's absolutely right. As police officers, our job is to protect and serve. And there's a reason that the Statue of Justice is blind, right? She's got that bandana across her eyes. And that's because she's not supposed to see race or religion or creed or any of that stuff. She's supposed to be blind to all of it but the facts. And when she goes and looks at the facts, justice is supposed to be served based on just that. And that's what police are supposed to do. We talked about the two movements that we have going on. We have the All Lives Matter movement. We also have the Red, White, and Back the Blue movement. And I think it's important to let the viewers that are watching know that we have that Red, White, and Back the Blue movement. And it's important to understand that when we have that movement, we're not saying to just blindly support law enforcement, right? We are encouraging the officers at the street level to be able to come forward and tell the upper management and the chain of command if there's a problem with an officer. As officers, we see all the time that there are police officers that don't belong in this profession. It's usually few and far between, but there are some. And the problem is that you end up having situations where you make that report in some departments, and you let them know that there's an issue with a certain officer, and the upper chain of command sometimes protects those officers and stops things from happening that should be moving forward to rectify that problem. whether it's getting that officer help, getting him retrained, or ultimately if you have to let him go. There's always seems to be an issue there when it comes to that. So we're not saying to blindly support law enforcement, and I think that that's important. One of the goals of the Red, White, and Back the Blue movement is to have common sense laws and bring about common sense change. So we want to talk to these politicians. We want to talk to the political figureheads that are making these laws and explain to them that what we need right now is laws that protect the police officers and allow them to do their jobs efficiently and with the utmost integrity that 98% of them, maybe even 99% of them do, right? But we also want laws that allow the public to maintain the faith in the job that those officers are doing. And we need to find a way to marry those two ideas together and come up with laws that make sense. And I think that that's important to understand. So that's the whole point behind that Red, White, and Back the Blue movement, is to support the police, but also support the good police. We want to get the bad ones out just as much as we want to support the good ones. And I think that that's important. We also have the All Lives Matter movement that's going on right now, Jeremiah. So, I mean, I'd love to talk a little bit more about that and tell everybody what the ideas are behind that, and tell them what we're doing.
So All Lives Matter. All Lives Matter. We got to look at it from this perspective. It is the alternative to Black Lives Matter, because Black Lives Matter like I said, it creates that divide. So think of a pie chart. In that pie chart, you have every race that's in there. Everybody has a slice of pie. Every race, Asians, whites, blacks, Hispanics, everybody has a slice of that pie. And we're all trying to work together and progress forward together as a people. We're all trying to work together. And when you take a slice of that pie away, it creates a void. And then that pie is missing. So now we have to come at a standstill. And there's a serious divide there that is keeping progression from moving forward. And we're stopping. And so with the Black Lives Matter, that campaign, what it really wholly did was it stopped and pushed us back into our history. So we're going back instead of progressing forward, because that's what we're supposed to be doing as people. As I mentioned before, we are ALM. The campaign itself is the alternative because it's rooted in love. It is rooted in togetherness and unity and solidarity. Unlike the divide and the chaos and destruction that you see with BLM, ALM is a nonviolent organization. We're not out here to fight anybody. We're not out here to kill anyone. We're not out here to destroy anyone. It's all about respect for our fellow people. It's all about helping each other out. We are our brother's keeper. That is one of our mantras. We help each other. And Antonio will agree with me that it will get to a point where we're willing to reach inside BLM, the silent minority that's inside of that has been drowned out by all the chaos and destruction that we see in society today. We're willing to reach inside there and pull them out, because we have ran across BLM supporters that truly feel what is going on and what's being represented by BLM is not what their mission is, what they're really trying to get it. They're really, these silent minority really are trying to work with people. And so ALM is trying to merge everyone together so that we can come together and push forward and progress together as a people. One race, one blood, one human, one people, one America. America united. That is our umbrella. That is what we're about. We are the alternative to the chaos that we see with BLM, because BLM, if we go down this road and continue down this road, we are destined for destruction. And it's obvious what they are about, because we obviously see it as televised. And anyone who supports BLM, in my opinion, is twisted in their thinking, because how can you refute? You get upset when people say all lives matter. How can you refute if I'm telling you that it is about love and it's the alternative? How can you get upset when somebody is trying to say, hey, look, I hear what you're saying. Why don't you come here? Let's work together. Leave that destruction to the side, because nobody's going to hear that. Let's come together as a people and let's lift each other up and move forward. How can you refute that? The only way you have to have hate in your heart. You have to be this evil person in order to say all lives matter. It degrades Black Lives Matter. It doesn't. It's in the words, all lives matter. But Antonio, you can come in for a second, man. I want to keep the spotlight.
Well, no, I think that you definitely you were direct and on point with what you just said. I mean, when it comes to all lives matter, the whole point of it is inclusivity. And I think that a lot of those things that you spoke about in the beginning about unity and inclusion, and being our brother's keeper, right? Those are key points that America United was based upon. We were based upon the guiding principles of inclusion and equality, justice, patriotism for every single American citizen, not just one group or one select people. And your analogy with the pie chart was right on topic. It really does show exactly what BLM is doing and accomplishing with their movement as an organization, right? They are removing a group of people from the citizenry of the United States. And when you do that, you're doing exactly what their group claims to be against. Their group claims to be against having this one group that's outside, that's cast out, that's not part of everyone and part of the all. Well, how can you claim to want to be a part of the all if you want nothing to do with the group that is the all? And by pulling that group out, you are creating division. You are creating racism. You are secularizing a group of people within the United States and marginalizing them, marginalizing their voice. And you are then taking their voice and weaponizing it for political purposes and for reasons to try and destroy the country and fracture the United States. And that's the reason that we can't allow that as a nation to happen. This is why America United was formed and started. It was so that we could reunite and repatriate as a citizenry and come together again on the guiding founding principles of what this country was created upon. And that is that all men are created equal. Every single one. It doesn't matter what he looks like. It doesn't matter what he sounds like. If it's a man, a woman, it doesn't matter. We have come so far as a nation from where we started in 1776. And then we had, all these steps that occurred throughout history. We had the Emancipation Proclamation. We had Abraham Lincoln. Then we had, Dr. Martin Luther King. And, the funny point to bring out is that, I see the Black Lives Matter people are always talking about Dr. Martin Luther King, how he was out there, he was protesting, he was doing all this stuff. Yeah, Martin Luther King Jr. was out there and he was protesting. But the difference was he was a peaceful protester. He was not for violence. He never advocated for violence. And in fact, he specifically spoke out against violence. Okay. And on top of that, what's really funny is that the Black Lives Matter organization claims that the Republican Party is the party of slavery. They're the party of Jim Crow. They're the party that hates African Americans. Meanwhile, Martin Luther King Sr. and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. were both registered Republicans. Now, Martin Luther King Jr. did later on in life switch to an independent. However, he held very Republican values for the majority of his life. And his movement and what he did brought this nation so far forward. And BLM is destroying that. They are tearing it down. They are creating racial division and tension. We are seeing in this nation now tensions based on race that we haven't seen since the 60s. And it's insane that that is where we are ending up again, because people like BLM are being given a national spotlight to talk. And when they're given that spotlight to talk, no one's actually checking what they're saying. Okay? I mean, let's just think about this for a second. If the Republican Party really was the party of slavery and they were the party of Jim Crow and all that, then explain to me how Jim Crow, who was actually the creator of the Jim Crow laws, was a Democrat. Explain to me how the first Republican that was an African American who became a congressman was in 1846, I believe. Yet the first Democratic African American congressman didn't take office until 1999. But yet the Republicans are the ones, according to BLM, that are holding the Black community back. And I think it's important to show that.
So we're not, let me just piggyback real quick. What we're seeing right now with the divide is, if you think about it, throughout history, we're not designed to hate people. Now, granted, we have that inside the world, the evil inside the world. The divide that we have is only created by us, because, we can work together. And that's what America United is about. And, having the divide is really, like I said, it doesn't do anything. The only way to build, the only way to have the foundation is through love. That is the only way. That is the only way to do this. And so Antonio and I, along with the supporters that are out there, We are trying to unite this country. And so, Antonio and I, we heard the cries from the wilderness. We heard the people saying we're tired of it. It's bad. And, it hurt us to our hearts. So somebody had to stand up. Antonio and I are the trailblazers to move this country into a direction where we can unite, to make this legacy for other people to pull up behind us and keep this progression forward. Because if we do not stand up right now, because the time is now to do this. If we do not do this, then we will never have this chance ever again. And I'm very confident in that, because what we have right now, we're just seeping further and further down the rabbit hole into the abyss of destruction. We're destroying ourselves if we allow this to keep happening. We can't do that. There are so many people out there. I'm sorry, Antonio, 1 second. We are the majority. We are the majority out there. The BLM individuals that support this and that are just consistently moving forward and just causing all this damage, they are the minority. Together, we can stand together as America, and we can shut that voice down and push it to the side and come together as a people, the American people, and we can build each other up. And anytime BLM would try to push themselves forward and to have a spotlight again, we will know what they're trying to do and we can subdue them. So we have to do this together.
That's absolutely right. And I think that one of the really important things to know with this is that it's not just about BLM, right? This is about the taking back of our nation. Right now, we have people who are trying to take control of this country. We have politicians who no longer serve we the people. We have people that have been in office for 40 plus years and have not done a single thing to move this country forward. And now specifically, and it's not just one-sided, we have people on both sides of the aisles, Jeremiah, who are sitting here and not doing what needs to be done for this country, stepping up to take control and do what they're supposed to do based on what we tell them to do. They work for us, we the people, right? They are employed by us, and they've forgotten that. But it goes beyond that. We don't just have politicians who are fueling this. We have hate groups and homegrown terrorist groups like Antifa who are sitting here and destroying our country. They're sitting here and rioting and burning buildings down and throwing rocks through buildings. They're shooting people and killing people in the streets along with the BLM rioters that are out there. They're destroying black businesses and black neighborhoods. They're not doing anything to help the black community. Not doing anything at all. And the one thing that's really, really upsets me is that when you look at BLM, they say that they're all about helping the black community, but they haven't actually done anything to help the black community. If you look at the news and you look at everything that's going on, all you see is them destroying black neighborhoods, destroying black businesses, killing other black people. But when there's a black on black crime, BLM is silent. When there's a black police officer who's killed in the line of duty by someone of any race, they're silent. You don't hear from them. The only time you hear from them is when it's a white police officer who does something to an African-American male or female individual. Okay, and that's when BLM stands up, because it's a national spotlight, because the mainstream media puts it up there for everyone to see. And then all of a sudden, BLM takes the spotlight and they put out their hate message of division and separation and seclusionary practices. And they're not actually caring about Black Lives Matter. And that's the point that people need to understand is BLM doesn't care about Black lives. They care about specific Black lives because it gets them in front of a news camera, which allows them to promote themselves, which then leads to donations, which, as we know, it's been leaked all over the internet. We've seen it for months now. It's been, talked about. It's been on the news. BLM's donation center that they have goes to Act Blue, and Act Blue sends it over to the Democratic parties and funds it. You can look for it for yourself when you go online. Go to their website. Click their donate button, and the website will change from Black Lives Matter to actblue.com. And then if you go to Open Secrets, which discloses every political party's expenditures and money that they bring in, you type in Act Blue, drop down to the list, which has the 2020 election cycle, and look down at who their top donors or their top recipients are. And all it is Joe Biden for president, Kamala Harris for president, all these different senators and Congress people, Bernie Sanders for president. It's all Democratic candidates that are getting the money that BLM brings in. And they've tried to refute that. They've put out spoof stories on the internet saying, oh, well, that's just the party that we use to bring in money. No, it's not. That's not the company used to bring in money. If that was the deal, they could do YouTube, they could do PayPal, they could do all sorts of different things to bring in money. You specifically picked one whose website, Act Blue, says on its own website that they are a company that funds and gathers donations for Democratic political party and candidates. So who are they really here to support? They're not here to support Black lives, I don't think, Jeremiah. I don't think they're here to support them at all. And I think that as we grow, I think that more and more people are going to see that the All Lives Matter is about all lives, and that includes all Black lives. We care about every single life. And, I think that one of the things that we should probably go to right now, I'm pretty sure that we can pull it up. We have a couple of letters here that we can show people to really explain what we're talking about. And I want to go to one letter specifically right now, which is the letter that we sent to DeVell Garner Sr. Jeremiah, if you could talk about that a little bit, about that, what happened to DeVell Garner Jr., that the tragedy that happened in New York City not too long ago, and then we'll bring up the letter for people to see.
Well, they were actually DeVell and his son. They were at a cookout with some friends and family, and then the kid was the son, Junior, DeVell Jr. was shot and killed. It was all over Fox News. I want to say that Sean Hannity interviewed the mother and the grandmother and the son, and they were saying that where Black Lives Matter? Where are they? They didn't do anything. They just it like you said, it's not pretty enough, or it's not smooth enough for BLM to actually want to come out and do anything with it. So you know what?
Officer involved.
I'm sorry, say again.
There was no white police officer involved in it, and I think that's part of the problem. This even had national headlines, and they still didn't step up and say anything. Exactly, where was BLM? I want to go to the show everybody exactly what it is that we're talking about. We sent a letter out to the family of DeVell Garner Sr. up in New York on behalf of America United. Myself and Jeremiah sent that letter out, expressing our condolences to his family and letting him know that us at America United and at All Lives Matter, we care about his son's life. His life mattered, and we want him to know that his son's life did not get lost in vain. It wasn't senseless or for no reason. Well, it was senseless, but it wasn't for no reason. That his son will be remembered through the work that we do at America United. His son and all these other people who have lost their lives in what is going on, they will be remembered through the works that we do at America United and the All Lives Matter movement. And we've even, we're in the process of designing a new banner that's going to have DeVell Garner Sr.'s son's name on it to memorialize and remember him on our banner. But again, it's something as simple as a letter that we sent out just to let the family know, hey, we stand with you in solidarity. All Lives Matter understands your pain and what you're going through. We are here for you. We're by your side. But still, to this day, not a single word from the Black Lives Matter community for them. Where was the riot?
Like you said, it's not sexy enough. So they're not going to have, they're not going to reach out to families like this. It's not sexy enough. So it's up to us as America United to actually reach out to people, because to show them, like I said, we are the alternative. And Antonio, you're gonna get us in trouble, man, with all the the hype that you're giving us, the excitement that you have in regards to what we stand for and what BLM is not doing. We're already deep in the hole as far as getting the threats and the phone calls and the messaging and stuff that we have right now. But we're standing strong. We're gonna keep pushing forward. And also, I wanted to mention that we also wrote another letter to Jessica Whitaker, who out of Indianapolis. She was killed just for saying All Lives Matter, which doesn't make any sense at all. So we reached out to that family and sent them a letter, and we're actually going to start a fundraiser for that family, for that 3-year-old son that she left behind. But with this letter, we're trying to reach the people. We're trying to let them know that even though this tragedy happened, we in America, as America United, we still are there for them. They're not by themselves in this tragedy. They don't mourn by themselves. They're not just a wayward thought that's something that happened or a statistic. The people of America United, the people of this great country, we love them. They matter to us. They have value. They have value.
Correct. And every life has value. And that is one of the biggest differences between the Black Lives Matter campaign and the All Lives Matter movement. All Lives Matter as a phrase, Jeremiah, it's been around for a little while now. It's been on T-shirts. It's been on bumper stickers. It's been a slogan. It's been a topic of debate and conversation. It's even been the butt of a joke in some instances. But until America United was formed and came on the scene, no one organized these people. No one organized the All Lives Matter movement. You had a whole bunch of people across the United States that agreed with this and said, yes, this is a thing. This is what needs to be. But no one organized it. So when we came into the picture as America United and we stepped up and we did this, the overwhelming amount of support that we have seen, and I'm talking thousands and thousands of people who have joined us in this across the United States. Like I said, we have 20 state chapters, and it's just the amount of love that we have gotten has been incredible. And then add to that the Red, White, and Back the Blue movement with the thousands of members that we have from that as well. And we've even done, stuff for Red, White, and Back the Blue. We did a letter that we sent a couple of weeks ago to the Tucson, Arizona City Council. We sent a letter to them because their mayor allowed the Black Lives Matter flag to be flown at City Hall, but then in her own statement stated that you can't use public properties to display privatized art campaigns and things like that. But that's exactly what you're doing with the Black Lives Matter flag. You have a public building and you're displaying a privatized symbol on it, but yet she wouldn't allow and wanted to try to get the city manager to stop a private nonprofit group from painting the thin blue line in front of the police headquarters for Tucson's police department. And, we sent them that letter that you can see on the screen right now. And, I think that it's disgusting to see what this country is coming to, and that political, I won't call them leaders because they're not our leaders, but political figureheads are cowtailing to the Black Lives Matter organization and just bowing down to them when we need to stand up as a nation and tell these people, no, this isn't the answer. This isn't the way. This isn't what we were about. This isn't what this country was founded on.
So let me jump in here real quick. So the government, the legislators of this country, of the counties, of the states that people live in, they work for the people. So I don't understand, in regards to that letter that we had to send out to them, how does the BLM movement or that campaign, how does that speak for the people? Because that, like I said before, there's a divide. It's only a select group of people that are being catered to. When you got the rest, and so it's just like, screw everybody else. We're going to focus on this one. To really, what really could happen is the government could say, the people, the government like Tucson, they could say, okay, all right, we have the majority of people in this country. We can't just single people out. Yes, we have an issue, we have a problem, but we can't divide our constituents. We have to bring everybody together and try to fix this issue together. We can't do the divide. The divide goes, it does nothing for anyone, because the divide, everyone knows that a divide takes away from the resources of where everything should be handled. It should be togetherness. It should be moving forward together. I'm telling you, the only way, Antonio, the only way that we're going to fix any of these issues, man, is that everyone has to come together, and everybody has to recognize that everybody has that value, and everybody has to be in a position to where they're willing to lift each other up. I'm trying to get this out to you, Antonio. I'm trying to beat this in your head as much as I can to help you understand where I'm coming from, that we are the alternative. There is no evil in what we're trying to do. Even though they try to paint us as being evil, they can't do that, because you can look at the results of what we're doing. So we're modeling what we're trying to put out there to people. And we're hoping that those that are the BLM supporters, that they'll turn to the left or to the right. They'll find us there and say, hey, look, these people right here got it together, because these people are really trying to bring us together and trying to help us in our cause as far as moving together. Because look, like I said before, BLM has pulled themselves out of the pie. They're out there flapping by themselves, and they want to be heard. They want to be heard screaming and crying, hey, see me, hear me. But we're telling them, turn around, we're right here, come back. We're going to move together. That's what we're supposed to be doing as a people group. I'm getting frustrated with dealing with all this, the stuff that BLM is out there. I mean, I can't go anywhere. I mean, I happen to be driving down to one of my, I had annual training a few weeks ago, and I would happen to be driving down to DC, and I've never seen it before, but there is a billboard on my way down. I mean, it's bright as day. It's huge with it says Black Lives Matter on it. And I was like, are you serious? So you're pushing this down my throat. And I happened to, as I drove through that neighborhood, I happened to look at some of the businesses, and I see big signs on the front that says Black Lives Matter. I mean, seriously, people, we really need to check ourselves and reevaluate our morals and our goals and our intentions forward. Everybody knows Black Lives Matter. Let me go ahead and say that now before people try to say, oh, he's never said Black Lives Matter. Let me say that now. Black lives do matter. All lives matter. Well, that's the message we're trying to put out. You're not separated. We're trying to pull you back into the fold and say you belong with us, not by yourself, because you can't go out there by yourself. And so let me explain something else to you real quick. When I have those people come to me and say, oh, well, Jesus, you know, the 99 sheep, he went out and grabbed the one sheep that was by himself. Let me explain that to you. All those sheep mattered to Jesus. One sheep was lost. That sheep was the one who separated itself, not paying attention, not realizing that he was with a group of people. So Jesus said, let me go grab that sheep, pull him back, let him know that we love him, bring him back into the fold, and let him look around and recognize that all the sheep matter to me, and we can move together as a group. And those people that support the BLM, man, no matter what we say, I'm fine. Now, like I said before, there's a minority in there, Antonio, that really want to be heard, but they're being drowned out. That's true. Those, you and I have been in these debates and these conversations with these people that no matter what you hit them with or what you present them with, they don't want to hear what you have to say. And so I am coming to the conclusion that these people that we're talking to, that we're debating with, they are set in their ways and they don't want to hear the truth. They want to be out there and left field so they can have something to rage about, something to be angry about, because if they came to the alternative side, then they would have to calm down. And they would have to produce and be productive with everyone else, and they would have to lift everyone else up. So to me, it seems kind of selfish that you want to step out there. Now, I want everybody to recognize something. I know you're going to call me all kinds of names out there, but just remember, I am a Black man. I came up in the South. You didn't know I was Black, Antonio?
For a second, I wasn't sure.
So I know what people are saying. I'm not turning my back on my race. I'm just waking up. I grew up Democratic. I grew up following, what they were putting out there. It wasn't until I left home and I started interacting with other people and started growing up and started seeing other things in life when I realized over the years, I realized that, it's not all about slavery. It's not about being Black. It's not about racism. I have a lot of things that I've accomplished in my life. And I have done that because I made choices. Now, I made some bad choices, but what it comes down to is choices. And then, when you follow, because like I said, I grew up in a Democratic home and my family, they're turning the tables now, but my family, the choices that they made kept them where they were. It wasn't until I left and I started making different choices against what they were teaching me, or the choices that they made, that I realized that my life started to change for the better. I stopped being a sheep. I stopped being a follower. And instead I started being a leader. So bottom line is, Antonio, what I really want to put out there to people is BLM is not the way. America, uniting with America is the way, and the mantra of all lives matter is the way. And let me ask you something. If you go to Black Lives Matter site, Antonio, have you ever been to their site?
I have. I've been to their site. I read a lot of the material.
Right. Actually, you spoke about it, but have you read their mission statement?
I did read over their mission statement. To me, it seemed highly convoluted and secularist.
Right. So if you look at our mission statement, our core values, what we believe, how can anyone say that, wow, those people over at America United, those people don't know what they're talking about. Those people are evil.
Well, you can't say that, because our mission statement, our core values, what we believe, all of it in its own black and white in writing for everyone to read, it's right there. It's clear what we stand for. We stand for complete and total unity as an American people. And it's very clear through what we have put out as our mission statements and our guiding principles, our core values, what we believe, that the goal here is to unite all Americans under a banner of America United. We need to get away from this secularist view. We need to get away from the ideas of, well, I'm an African American, or I'm an Asian American, I'm an Italian American, I'm a Jewish American. I'm a Catholic American. I'm this kind of American or that kind. No, you're not. You are an American. You're an American and you're an American patriot. When have you ever heard someone say, I am a Black Chinese, or I am an Irish Italian, or I am a, Polish Russian? They don't say that. They say they're Italian, or they're Russian, or they're Polish, or they're Chinese, or they're from whatever country they're from. If you are here, if you're a citizen of the United States, you are an American. We need to stop putting ourselves into these compartmented little groups and dividing each other based on them. We need to come together as a united America. And that's what we stand for. And you hit the nail on the head earlier, Jeremiah, when you said that United America and America United's mission is all about love. ALM, the All Lives Matter movement, is based on love. It's based on faith. It's based on coming together as a people and sharing a common goal, a common belief, and a common dream that's been around since Dr. Martin Luther King. It's been around since 1776 when we created this country, of everyone being equals. And did it take time to move forward from that and get to where we were, recently? Sure, it took time to do that, because we as a nation will continue to grow over time. But this rioting and the division and everything that's going on right now in these cities across America is not the way. You don't build a future by tearing down your past. That's not how you do it. You learn from your past, or you're destined to repeat it. And that's a scary thing right now. And I think one of the things that really scares me the most is this defund the police movement that's going on. Right now they've got a defund the police movement across the United States. People are saying, defund the cops, get rid of the cops. We're going to send social workers and put that money from the police departments into social programs and things to help people. Okay, well, I would love to see a 5'6", 120-pound, not to gentrify anybody, but 120-pound female social worker show up to a domestic violence situation where the husband's drunk, beating the crap out of his wife, and she's going to handle that situation with no enforcement ability whatsoever. She's going to go there and talk him down. I can tell you as a law enforcement officer, I know you can tell me as a law enforcement officer, and any police officer across the country will tell you, you're not being realistic. That's not going to happen. Sure, you can bring that social worker out there. You can have her talk to them after the scene is controlled. But sending someone that's not armed, that has no way to defend themselves other than to sit there and talk to someone and hope that they listen, into a situation and send them there by themselves, you're asking for people to die. Someone's going to get seriously hurt in that situation. This is why we have law enforcement. This is why we have the institution that we have of the American law enforcement system and the American criminal justice system, is to stop things like that from happening, because we as a people understand that there are people out there who are going to do evil things. And the only way to stop evil people is good people with the same means that those evil people have. And so they've got this defund the police movement going on. And, the Joe Rogan show actually had Ben Shapiro on recently. And he had an interview with Ben Shapiro. And I think we have a clip of that. Do we have a clip? If we can go to the clip on that. Okay, we have the picture of it here, in which Ben Shapiro was talking to Joe Rogan. And what Ben Shapiro said was, you can't move the Black community forward. You can't make the Black community better. You can't help the Black community by getting rid of the law enforcement that they have. You need to put more money into law enforcement and expand law enforcement in those areas, especially across the United States you need to, but especially in impoverished areas, underprivileged areas, areas where there's hard economic times, areas where, they have these issues. Because by allowing law enforcement to do its job, by putting more money into it and enforcing things better, you're going to drive down the criminal aspect that's in that area. And that's the only way that a community can build itself up, is if you get rid of the criminal aspect that's there. Until you get rid of that criminal aspect, that community is never going to be able to build itself up. And we're seeing it right now with all the riots that are going on, Jeremiah, all the riots that are going on across the country. It's showing so many African-American business owners across the country who built businesses from the ground up. Their entire life savings were in these businesses that they own. And you have rioters who have just completely destroyed their businesses. These people had to shut their doors and give up their entire dream, their livelihood, everything. How are you going to better a community and build a community if you're tearing it down? And I think that Ben Shapiro's 100% right on this, that you need to put money into law enforcement to be able to allow them to do their jobs. Because once you drive down that crime and make that area safer and get the criminal element out of there, then you're going to see these communities start to come up. They're going to come together and they're going to build their community back up, which is what 98% of them want. You have 1 or 2% of people who want to see those communities stay where they are. not counting the politicians who have their own agenda for why they want to keep those communities down. And that's the majority of the reason those communities are being kept down in the first place, is for political problems. Yeah, we did away with red districting and did that away about 20 or 30 years ago, maybe even 40 years ago at this point. But it didn't change anything. They took the red district lines away, but they continued the impoverishment. They continued to keep these people down.
Yeah. So really what's going on, just to jump back real quick, you stated that, you know, defunding the police is always going to be an issue. And you that social worker that you said would go out there, how is she going to combat a domestic violence situation? At the end of the day, you're going to need the police, because the police are going to have to respond with that social worker. The police are going to have to be there. Otherwise, you're going to have more casualties. You got the husband beating the wife, and the husband is also, or whoever, spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, is beating the significant other. And it's going to, another victim is going to be that social worker. You can't get around that. So you need the police that are there. And
Right.
You mentioned earlier, Antonio, and I said that this is probably going to get us in trouble, the black on black crime. How many times have we heard, why are you mentioning black on black crime? How many times have we heard that? Quite a few. But the reason why we mention that is because it is an issue. You
Right.
cannot sweep around my front door until you sweep around your own. You cannot fix those issues until you cannot come to us and say, hey, you're not doing this for us. If you turn around, you're not doing it for yourself. Now, we're not too far from Baltimore City. In Baltimore City, you have the issue of people that, it's a very impoverished city in certain areas of that state. I mean, literally, you could go blocks. Say we live on one block, and then you can walk to another block, and that block is completely impoverished. That is Democratic. That is usually it's a Democratic ran government in Baltimore City. If you go across this country, I know you guys have heard this before, but if you go across this country to any city that is impoverished and don't have any legislation or policies that lift their people up, I guarantee you it'll be a democratically led body that's running that inner city. But everybody wants to go along and follow that. Like I said before, it's generational, and that's what they bank on. The Democrats, to keeping the generational curse there, giving people handouts so they don't stand up for themselves and make the right choices and actually go out there and be productive citizens of this great country. So what happens is, so that parent passes it down to their kid, and then that kid passes it down to their kid, so it becomes a generational curse in regards to what people are actually doing in these inner cities. And the Democrats, they really play on that. I'm not trying to be political. It's just something that's out there. And let me go back to this black on black crime. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, actually somebody I went to school with. I'm not going to mention his name. If he's watching right now, he knows who he is. He's a big proponent of somebody who always says, why are you mentioning black on black crime? Why is that an issue? Let me tell you something. As a police officer with over 15 years of law enforcement, if I'm in a regular neighborhood and there are law-abiding people out in the communities or whatever, they're going to have no problem. We go into areas that are known, impoverished or whatever, you're going to have people in those impoverished communities that are riding dirty. What I mean by riding dirty does not always mean having drugs in your car. What I mean is your signal light may be off. It may not be working properly. Your license plate may be dead. It may not come back registered. The vehicle could be stolen. So you could be in any neighborhood and get pulled over by any police officer because you have that issue. But yet, people will say that they're being targeted. And go back to the black on black crime real quick. We're killing each other in the black community. I mean, you want to talk about Black Lives Matter? What is going on there? And I'll tell you one day, just to give you a real life example, Antonio. I went to Noodles and Company. I think I was on the phone with you at that time, and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to Noodles and Company," and you was like, "Yeah, man, that's some good food there." But anyhow, I happened to pull up to Noodles and Company, and I went inside. Was going inside. It was a guy that parked behind me. It was one of those grab and go type things in result of COVID-19. I saw this guy. His license plate was hanging off his car. It was a nice car. It was like an Audi A6 or something. Black guy, really nice car. He got out of the car, put on a mask, and it said Black Lives Matter. I said, okay, to each his own, do your thing, go ahead, brother. And then actually I was walking by his car. He was getting out of his car at the same time, and I saw his license plate. His license plate, like I said, was hanging off the car. It wasn't mounted properly. And I said, hey, bro, your license plate is not hanging on properly. You might want to fix that, man, before you get pulled over. Why? They only gonna pull me over because I'm driving while I'm black because I got this nice car. No, dude, they will pull you over because your license plate is not mounted properly. That is the stuff that I'm talking about. What people are always saying, well, black people are always saying.
Well, I think we lost our feed there for a second. Are you back, Jeremiah?
Yeah, I'm back, man. I'm here.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Lost you there for a second. Completely lost you there for a second.
You lost me. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm back. All right. Well, let me continue on. Are we good to continue on?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're not going to miss a beat. But anyway, what happened was, man, I told this guy. And so the point I'm trying to make is if you set yourself up to be pulled over by the police, and with the attitude that you have, you know, when you approach them, when the police approach you, we're just as nervous as you are. We want to go home just like you want to go home. So then comply. Then obey the law. This guy at Noodles and Company, whose license plate was hanging off his car at that time, Antonio, he could easily, if I was in a patrol car, I would pull him over. Hey, man, you need to fix your license plate. But I guarantee you, if a white cop came up to him and pulled him over, what? I'm driving this car. You want to pull me over because I'm black? No, guy, your license plate is mounted improperly. You need to fix that. No, I'm not doing that. And he's going to have an attitude, and that just raises attention. And that's the problem with a lot of people. But I digress.
Absolutely. You know, and it's funny that well, not really funny, but, you know, you were talking about, black on black crime. And if you remember, we actually had a conversation with a gentleman who supports Black Lives Matter. And if you remember, the comment that he made to us was, there is no such thing as black on black crime. And I interesting because, and if you remember the comment that I said back to him, I said to him, okay, so you're going to tell me that there's no such thing as black on black crime. So then what politically correct term do you call it when a black person commits crime against another black person? Because it does happen. It exists every day in this country. So how they can say that black on black crime doesn't exist, I don't know where they're coming up with that idea from, but it certainly does exist. Black on black crime occurs every single day in this country. So for them to push that agenda and that mindset of that, black people are exempt from crime when it's another black person is ludicrous.
Yeah. So, hey, look, let's, the doctors, because we're suffering from this censorship. You remember the doctors that were, we got the feed and we actually posted it. It came to us actually live, and, we were watching it. And then, we go to share it or whatever. We share it within not minutes, maybe a few hours, it was gone. And then once everybody started sharing it, then I guess their algorithm changed, and then, they shared it within minutes, it was gone. You want to talk about that? Because I'm going to hit on what's going on with us right now. Go ahead. Yeah.
So the that video that we shared to our Facebook page actually was of the news conference, and I think we have an image of it. Was of the news conference that was done by the doctors, where they were talking about COVID-19, and they were talking about a medication that can help, that can do something about it. I'm not a doctor. I don't, try to be a doctor. I'm not a healthcare professional by any means. But I do know enough to know that I'm probably going to believe what a doctor tells me over what a Facebook fact checker tells me. So the point of it is this, and you can see it in the video or in the image that's on the screen right now. You can see right in the center where it's a picture and it's grayed out. Behind that grayed out is the video of those doctors speaking about COVID-19. And Facebook graded out and said that this is inaccurate information and it's false information and it's bad science. And I find that ironic because we have no idea who these Facebook fact checkers are. To this day, they have a couple of them that are listed on the Facebook website, and they tell you it's this company, it's that company, it's Associated Press, and all this other stuff. But if you want to talk about censorship in its truest form, this is it. You have doctors that are telling people medical information and talking about science in an open press conference. And because of the fact that it's not what they were expecting these doctors to say, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all these different social media platforms went on a crusade taking these links down. And when they couldn't take them down fast enough, Facebook started marking all of them as bad science and false information that was checked by these independent fact checkers. So we as an American people are supposed to believe that a Facebook fact checker, who we have no clue who this person is, what their credentials are, we know nothing about them, is supposed to know better on medicine and science than a doctor. And that's just one example of the censorship that is going on across this country, where if it doesn't go along with the media narrative and with the ideal that they're trying to push across this country, that they censor it out and they do everything they can to stop you. And I know you're going to talk about it in a second here, but we experience it too as a company. We experience it as a nonprofit organization trying to do good for this country. And we're experiencing it. And I know you're waiting to talk about it, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor because I know you got a lot to say on this.
So our message has been targeted to, and like Antonio said, we have a great message for everyone. Everyone can join, and everybody can prosper and enjoy this movement together with us all. As a people, we can just love each other. So what happened to us? Okay, so I get a phone call at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Antonio gets a phone call. Hey guys, something's going on. Our IT team called us and was like, hey, our servers just was hacked. And was like, what? And so, but it wasn't just us. It was 19, if I'm not correct, if I'm wrong, Antonio, I may have the number wrong, but it was 19 other conservative outfits that are servers that were targeted. They took everything from us.
40 other conservative servers, Jeremiah.
40. All right.
All conservative news websites or other conservative and non-democratic viewpoints on them.
So now our IT team has strengthened our servers. They purchased other services, and now so we're like Fort Knox. All right, so we got that. We were targeted there, and it wasn't until we started growing heavily that Facebook started to really target us. I mean, it's to a point now that Antonio, even our state chapter presidents, they would post things on their page, and it would never make it to their page. They would like what they call, I guess, shadow banning. I've never experienced this before. I've heard about, Facebook and other platforms censoring people. But now I had to get in touch with Antonio this morning and ask him, hey, can you post this? Because I can't. We're just getting the message out there. And I don't understand. How can you? Well, actually, I do understand. Our message is not a message that you want to get out there because you're trying to push an agenda that really that fosters hate and divide to keep the money pot, looking good, I guess, or whatever the case may be. But Antonio and I and all of America United, we've been targeted heavily in regards to being censored with a lot of stuff. I mean, I can't even post things. Some of our state chapters, our videos were going viral at one point. And now, it shows that we're getting like maybe a couple of hundred views. Or our state chapters, they'll start putting things out there to their people, and that people aren't even getting it. It was a point. I mean, when we first started, like I said, Antonio said that we're roughly a month old, and we have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of supporters, and we're constantly growing. We're at 20 chapters, state chapters right now, and in our board meetings, we're expected to reach all 50 states that are going to have state chapters. But you know what's going on? They know that we're strengthening. Like Antonio had mentioned before in a conversation that we had, and that I mentioned in a video that I had, and maybe a post that I had, that everybody knows on the other side of the BLM side or the Democratic side or the left side, or however you want to look at this angle, everyone knows that there is the idea that Americans could unite. And so they were fine with that, but they never, ever thought that we would unite. And that scares the crap out of them. So they are really trying to shut us down. I mean, they're sending all kinds of stuff our way, but we're going to stand tall. We have a plan. They don't know it yet, but we're going to shut them down. They don't know it. It's coming. Just hang tight. We're growing, and we are the majority. And that's all I want to say about that. We are being censored, and it's a real thing out there. But don't worry, people. Don't worry. You'll get the message.
And talking about that, I want you to talk about one other thing here real quick that you experienced here within the last couple of days is the the Twitter issue that we had when we started our Twitter page. And I know we're kind of running out on time. We're only an hour segment here, but let's touch on that real quick. And then we have a couple of things to put out for everybody. And then we can start to wrap up. But go ahead and talk about the Twitter situation that we had.
So I tried to open up a Twitter account for America United last week. And I would get through, it would post, I would share it. And then within minutes, when I go back to look at it, within minutes, it was gone. It said it goes against the community guidelines. Your organization is not what Twitter is going to support or have put out there. Facebook, when it would hit Facebook, as I shared it to Facebook, they said it goes against their community guidelines. So, you know, I'm being censored heavily as far as putting the information out there. Antonio is being censored. Our state chapters are being censored. America United is being censored, but they can't keep us silent. They can't. We find backdoor ways. They're not going to be able to keep us silent, and we're steady moving along. Like you said, Antonio, we're running out of time. We got some other agenda points, talking points we need to talk about. So you can go ahead and hit on those, man. And I'll jump in where I need to. You got it from here.
Absolutely. And just, you know, real quick on that same topic of getting censored and stuff, Jeremiah, you know, we saw that when we had first started growing and the agency, America United, the organization, really started to gain momentum and get traction. We saw that with our Facebook pages. We ended up having to redevelop our entire idea of how we were doing Facebook pages and turn it into Facebook groups, because we had created pages for the 8 chapters that we had across the states for the one movement. And I think we had 14 for All Lives Matter at that point when we were running the 2 campaigns separately. And if you remember, the pages got shut down by Facebook. We were barred from opening any new Facebook pages that had the name Red, White, and Back the Blue or All Lives Matter on it. And they said, when we tried to open it, it said that the name that you're trying to use has been labeled by Facebook as a hate group. And I think that that's absolutely insane, that, you know, that they can do that, and that they are doing that. But yeah, we are running out of time here. I know we're short on time. There's a couple of things that we wanted to get out to everybody. So obviously we have a lot going on. We have a lot on our plates with this organization, with America United. This is the first episode of Let's Start a Conversation. We really hope that you guys liked this episode. I know that I've had a lot of fun. I'm sure Jeremiah had a lot of fun with it also. And we're going to have a lot more episodes coming. We're going to bring guest speakers on to speak with us, and we've got a lot planned for this. So I really hope that, you know, you guys will continue to tune in every Sunday at 8 o'clock East Coast time to join us for the hour segment and to hear what we have to say and what's going on. So real quick, we've got our website, which is www.americaunitedllc.com. That website is getting ready to go live here in the next couple of days, which will have amazing information for you guys about the organization. It will also have a whole ton of different functionality for you. There's an app that's coming. It's the America United app that'll be available in the Google Play Store as well as the Apple iPhone Store that you guys can download. And both of those will allow you the ability to become a member of the organization. You can join and, you know, join your state chapter. You can join us in the national organization and become a member there. We do have some fundraisers going on right now. We have a t-shirt fundraiser that's going on, which is really awesome. You can see it here on the screen. We got a couple of different options. There's men's and women's t-shirts in black and gray. We've also got a black tank top or muscle shirt. In the front, it's got our America United logo on it. It says America United, United Americans. Same thing is on the back of the t-shirt, but blown up bigger. All that money goes to the organization and helps us to do what we're doing. It helps us to get the message out there, to promote the All Lives Matter movement, to promote Red, White, and Back the Blue, and help these communities and help these people that really do need the help. So if you guys could stop over to there, you can get it from our Facebook page. You can get it from our Facebook group, which is America United LLC. You can join the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/America United HQ. The links will be in the comments section of the videos for you guys to purchase the t-shirt, as well as to be able to go to the groups and follow us and keep in touch with us there. We've also got an ability for you guys to go directly to PayPal and donate to us. You can donate at our paypal.me/America United, and you can go right to that on your phone or on your computer. Just type it in, paypal.me/America United. Select the amount, just type it in, how much you want to donate to the organization. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and you can donate to us. Your donations are tax deductible as a write-off to a charity organization. So we have those things going on. We had rallies this weekend, Jeremiah, if you want to talk about them real quick. We had a rally in Utah and a rally in Indiana, I think, that went great.
All right, so real quick, I want to let you guys know that Jean Hawk, our state chapter president for America United in Indiana, she had a rally yesterday, and it turned out well. It was the Back to Blue movement, a red, white, and back to blue movement, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Also, in Utah, our state chapter president, Lala Fusitua, I apologize, Lala, if I got your name wrong, but she also was a part of a rally yesterday in which she, being Lala, she stood out above the crowd, and she is drawing in people from that rally. It was a rally of smaller other campaigns or organizations, and Lala was asked to speak, and she spoke about America United. So now those organizations are really trying to come in and be a part of America United because they understand the vision forward. And also, real quick, Kevin Paul, who is our Virginia state chapter. I spoke with him today. He has over, just for Virginia itself, he has over 150 members. And so he's trying to get his board together, and he's looking for people to actually become part of his board. But another issue that he has in his state is that he's organizing and getting these things together. But his people, he's asking if his people would just step up and, and come to these organizations, because he's been asked by a lot of other organizations to come and speak. And he has spoken before. And so now he wants to give the united front of the Virginia chapter when he goes to these speaking engagements. So I'm asking all those that are in Virginia, those that are part of the Virginia chapter, go and support Kevin and help him push this message out of America United.
Absolutely. I really love how we've gotten so many different state chapters on board already. We're almost at half the country so far. I know we have state chapters in Arizona, California, Florida, Georgia, Iowa, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Missouri, New York, New Jersey. We've got them in North Dakota and Ohio. They're in Oregon. We've got one in Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, Washington State. And we've got, phone calls coming in, people trying to start chapters in their states that don't have them yet. The states that do have them are doing very well, gaining lots of members on a daily basis. And the interest and the people supporting us has just been incredible. So we just ask everybody, please, support us, open a chapter in your state if you haven't already. And if there isn't one in your state, donate to us as much as you can. If it's $1, if it's $10, $200, whatever it is, all of it goes to helping to put this nation back on track, to guiding this country to where it needs to be, and bringing us back to being one America United again, one people, undivided, with a mission and a common goal. And that's what we need to get back to. We are the mission, we are the way forward, and we are the way to get this country back to where it needs to be and see it through to the end. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you guys had a great time with us. We really enjoyed sitting here talking to you. We're going to have great content coming up next week. We're going to be putting some more information about that out in the days to come. So follow our Facebook page, join our Facebook group, follow our YouTube page. All the links for everything that we talked about today is going to be in the comments section for you guys to see, to donate, to check out our pages. So I really appreciate it. Jeremiah, I had a great time talking to you today, and I look forward to doing this again next Sunday.
It's always a pleasure, brother. Thank you for having me here.
I want to give a real shout out real quick to Rob Hicks, who's our producer. I want to give a big shout out to him. He's done a lot for us to help us in putting this show together. So thank you, Robert. And thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Stay united.